Hey everybody, this is Angela and you're listening to 5 Picks and a Chick featuring El Gato. This is a show that gives you 5 NFL picks for people who love football and friendly wagering. Today we are joined by our special guest, Rudy. Thanks for being with us, Rudy.
Hey, thanks for having me again.
El Gato, we got to go over our record for last week. Last week, both you and I had the same record. It was 1 win, 2 losses, and 2 pushes. You know, those pushes, man, it could have gone either way on those games. It's tough, but our season record is still good. I mean, we both have 22 wins, 15 losses with 3 ties. Our win ratio is 59%, so still not too bad.
Yeah, the 59% win rate to date is, it's a good rate. I'll take it. Those 2 pushes that we both experienced last week, yeah, those were tough to take, but at least they weren't losses. But, it could have gone either way. I was hoping there would have been W's to put on the win column, stack up those wins. But that's the way the NFL is. You know, it's very close matchups.
Yep, I agree. Well, my first pick is going to be Tampa Bay plus 2.5 at Houston. The reason I like Tampa Bay in this game is that Houston is struggling to score points and struggling to close games out. Tampa needs a win badly, and Baker Mayfield should have an advantage over the rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud. So I'm taking the team getting the points. What are your thoughts on this game, Rudy?
Yeah, I actually like the Texans in this one. I think they need a bounce-back game. I think C.J. Stroud actually looks pretty good, and I actually like him as an offensive rookie of the year in general. Panthers, I know they lost last week. Bryce Young got his first win, so that's kind of cool, but I think the Texans actually bounced back this week. I know the Bucs have had 3 extra days of rest and all that, but I think the Texans can squeak out a win here.
All right. What are your thoughts on this game, El Gato?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go. I'm with Rudy on this one. I'm going to go on the other side of that bet. I'm going to go with the Texans at minus 2.5. Tampa's struggling right now. They've lost 4 or 5. Both teams, are struggling on the offensive side to put some points up on the board. So I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. At home, I'll take Houston. I'll take Houston, C.J. Stroud over Baker Mayfield, and only because of the home field advantage Houston has. So it's going to be a tight game, I agree. But I'll take the home team on this one, Houston.
All right, yeah. Tampa Bay's getting 3 extra days of rest, so hopefully that's going to help them get a win or at least cover in this game.
Yeah, this time of year, those extra days of rest always helps out those nagging injuries.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Well, my second pick is going to be Raiders minus 1.5 versus the Giants. I'm taking the Raiders here as a slight home favorite. Teams that fired their head coach always seem to play very inspired football their next game. Even though the Raiders offense is nothing to rave about, the Giants offense is even worse, averaging 12 points a game on the season. Only once have the Giants scored more than 14 points this season, and that was against Arizona Cardinals. So, hoping the Raiders have an ace up their sleeve. What are your thoughts on this game, Rudy?
Yeah, I definitely like the Raiders too. I think the Giants might be down to like a third-string quarterback if Tyrod Taylor can't go. Definitely going to play some inspired football after firing Josh McDaniel and the GM, which is definitely what they should have done like last season. I also think they benched Jimmy Garoppolo, so that's also another positive. So that Aiden O'Connell, I think he's pretty good. I think that's the quarterback that they're starting. He's pretty good. He's definitely going to have his struggles, but I think the Raiders can score at least 20 against the Giants, and I think the Giants also had negative 9 yards passing as a team last week. So I didn't even think that was possible in today's NFL, but I definitely think the Raiders can score at least 20, hopefully.
What are your thoughts on this game, El Gato?
Yeah, this is a messed up game. I was looking at it, and to Rudy's point, the way the Giants are struggling offensively, I'm like, damn, how many points do they need to even cover? Right? Do they need to score 9 points to cover? I don't know. But, the Raiders are so disorganized right now as an organization, firing a coach is never good. But Angela, you are right. A team tends to kind of get rejuvenated. They want to play a little harder maybe for the new coach to impress. I don't know what it could be. And Garoppolo being benched, I don't know about that either. So with all that being said, I'm going to go on the other side of this one with the Giants at plus 1.5. I mean, I believe they're getting Daniel Jones back this week. I read a couple of articles indicating that. I read also that their O-line is getting healthier. Barkley's getting healthier as well, and they're leaning on that defense to come in ball games, which they have most of the year. So it may be a crazy pick, but I don't know. I have a feeling that the Giants will show up a little bit better than they have been the last couple of games, and maybe be able to cover that 1.5. So I'll go with the Giants plus 1.5.
Yeah, I did see that Daniel Jones has been cleared. Tyrod Taylor is out if Daniel Jones can't play, so they're going to their third string, DeVito. And every time I hear that name, I want to say Danny DeVito, but it's not Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, and then the other thing that Rudy mentioned, I could not believe this stat either. -9 passing yards for the Giants. How does that happen? I don't even understand.
That's a crazy stat. It sure is.
Yeah. They are rushing for, I think it was 200 yards or something like that. So, yeah, that's just some weird stats there. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
All right, Rudy, do you have a third pick for us?
I do, actually, and it's going to be the Browns. I think they're favored by about 8 points this week. Cardinals are definitely going in the wrong direction after a weirdly good start to the season. Josh Dobbs was playing pretty good for them. I just think it's probably because no one had film, but Cardinals had a really good start to the season. After that, they just kind of fell off, and they haven't really recovered since. They beat the Cowboys, though, but it's about their only highlight of the season. I just think the Browns' defense is way too good. I think I saw some articles about Kyler Murray potentially coming back this week, but if that's not true, I think they go to their Clayton Tune.
Yeah.
I think the Browns' defense is a way too good to actually let him do anything, to let the Cardinals' offense do anything in general. I know Deshaun Watson might not be playing again, but the Browns, I think, can hold the Cardinals to maybe even 0 points, especially being at home, too. They're just the better team this week, I think.
El Gato, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Rudy on this one. With Dobbs being traded, I think Kyler Murray is really done for the year. I think the Cardinals are really, I don't know, they may be, I know in the NFL it's hard to say a team is tanking, but I don't know, I think they're playing for that number 1 pick for next year's draft. And I think Kyler maybe he's played his last days at Arizona. They're probably going to trade him or something. But with Dobbs out, and that Browns defense really being the centerpiece of that team, I think the Browns even score a couple of possessions in that game, just the defense alone on turnovers, or at least puts the offense in outstanding field position to score a field goal or maybe even a touchdown. So with that said, I'll take the Browns at -8. That's a lot of points, but considering who they're playing and how the Cardinals have not really played well this last couple of weeks, I'll go with the Browns at -8.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cleveland as well on this game. Cleveland was leading the game almost the entire time last week against a good Seattle team. They won their 2 previous games before that, and they are coming back home to face an awful Arizona team who just traded Dobbs, like Rudy said. So I'm taking Cleveland -8. I think it's going to be the battle of a game-time quarterback decision. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
See. Yeah.
All right. El Gato, do you have a 4th and 5th pick for us?
Yeah, I have a couple of picks. The first pick I'm going with is Colts at Carolina. And Carolina's +3, the home team. I'm going to go with Carolina on this one at +3. Bryce Young, the last couple of games, has really played well. Ever since they made the coaching change to call the plays, he's been managing the game and leading them to victories. Minshew, the quarterback for the Colts, he's off and on. He plays well. He plays poorly. Recently, though, he's turned over the ball at a high rate, and that's never good for a team. That this usually spells out an L, a loss. And the Carolina defense is improving, especially on the third down efficiency. They're getting off the field and getting more possessions for their offense. And Colts are giving up almost 29, right at 29 points per game. So the home team getting +3 and Bryce Young improving overall. I'll take Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers on this one.
What are your thoughts on this game, Rudy?
I really like the Panthers in this spot too. Of course, beating the Texans last week, but Bryce Young has definitely gotten better each week. I think he's starting to look a little bit more comfortable after the early season rookie kind of up and downs. But Colts defense, major issues over the last 2 weeks. Again, Gardner Minshew, super inconsistent. Sometimes he's good. Sometimes he rushes for 2 touchdowns. Sometimes he throws it away 3 times. But I definitely think the Panthers can get their second victory of the season this week.
Yeah, I'm with y'all as well. I'm taking Carolina +3. And like y'all mentioned, Bryce Young and the Panthers are playing well. And I really am rooting for Bryce Young. They had their first win last week, and I think they can carry that momentum over into this Indy game. Indy is a team who is struggling on defense, letting up 37 points a game in their last 3 outings. Taking the home dog. Do you have a 5th pick for us, El Gato?
Yeah, I do. It's going to be the Cowboys at the Eagles. Super rivalry game. A lot of importance in this to claim leadership in the NFC East. Both teams have been the Cowboys, ever since they got thrashed the 49ers several weeks ago, together a couple of solid wins. They haven't been spectacular wins, but they've done enough to win, and that's all you have to do in the NFL, just win and go advance to the next week. Defense is really holding up. Dax has really come on this last couple of games. He's finding multiple receivers to go to. The Eagles' defense, although solid on the defensive line and the linebacker position, their weakest link, in my view, is their defensive backs. And if Dax and the wide receivers can get things going, up, downfield and even working the middle, I think they can get good field position and more opportunities to score. And then with Jalen Hurts being hurt, I don't know if he has a hip issue, a leg issue, or it's got to be something where his running effectiveness is limiting what he's able to do offensively to keep that defensive opponent, guessing on what he's going to do, especially on the run options. And he's turning over the ball a little more at a higher rate. They barely beat the Commanders last week, which is concerning because Washington is really not a very good team, but they won, and really that's all that matters, right?
Yep.
I go back saying what I said earlier. Cowboys at Eagles, rivalry game. Cowboys at 3 points. I'll take the boys on this one.
What are your thoughts on this game, Rudy?
This is a tough one. I don't think the Eagles are playing up to what they could be. I know they're the class of the NFC right now. This game kind of feels like not only like control of the NFC East, but the NFC in general, with the 49ers kind of falling off these last couple weeks. But it's tough because I feel like the Cowboys have kind of just beaten up on teams that they should. Like last week, I know they scored 43, but it was against the Rams. I feel like the Rams are kind of posers to their early season schedule. I know the week before they barely squeaked out a win with the Chargers. So I just don't trust Dak when he's not at home. I know he plays really good at home, but I feel like the Eagles defense is just good enough to hold the Cowboys. I know they kind of righted things in the past 2 games, but playing against a real team, I feel like they're not going to come out as they do against teams that they should be beaten up on. I know Jalen Hurts is hurt, but I think he does just enough. I think he knows his limitations while he's hurt. So I think he plays into his strengths that he can while he is. So I think I like the Eagles at home this week.
I'm with you on that, Rudy. I'm going with the Eagles as well. Eagles are the more consistent team. They show more mental toughness. They are at home where they have played much better. And I think Cowboys have yet to prove they can beat a good team, and Eagles are definitely a good team. I think it should be a competitive game. I think come fourth quarter, Eagles will wear down the Cowboys, and they will cover.
Nice. Looking forward to the game. It's going to be good.
It'll be a good game. Very good game. All right. You have any final thoughts for us, El Gato?
Yeah, Angela, it's going to be a good football weekend. Of course, we've got the rivalry game that we just talked about in the NFC East, the Cowboys and Eagles. We also have another solid matchup with the Bills and the Bengals. I won't fail to mention the Chiefs and the Dolphins coming up as well. So, yeah, it's going to be a tight NFL weekend. A lot of teams need to show up and win and progress and move forward. So, yeah.
Right. Well, if you have made it to this point in our podcast, we just want to thank you for listening to 5 Picks and a Chick. Be sure to tell your friends about us. Also hit the subscribe and like button on our YouTube channel at 5 Picks and a Chick. You can also find us wherever you get your favorite podcasts or ask Alexa to play 5 Picks and a Chick. Thank you to Rudy for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
All right, make sure to join us next week. As always, thank you to El Gato for being part of 5 Picks and a Chick. 1, 2, 3, break.
Break.